Welcome to your Real Estate Update with Darren Ahearn. Each week, we break down housing trends, mortgage updates, buyer and seller strategies, and the local changes shaping Frederick County and beyond. No fluff, just smart insight to help you make better decisions with your home and your money.
All righty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode, I believe, number 8. Yes, welcome back to your Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahearn with RE/MAX Results, your host, bringing you over 23 years experience in the Maryland, PA, and all of this region. And I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are live here at Studio 401 North Market Street. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure, as it comes up here, you can see on the Everything Live platform, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. That way you'll get notified each and every Monday night and when we're on here. And I want to thank you guys so much. You can also go back in the whole podcast drop-down list, and you can check out all the past awesome programs. We've had some of the most amazing guests and all that kind of good stuff like that. So also real quick, fun little contest. I got really excited about it at first, but now I'm like, everybody's all like, what the heck's going on? Every Saturday also, I host your Frederick Real Estate Update on WFMD 930 radio here locally. And that does go out on my Facebook Live and such like that, and platform and YouTube and everything else. So we're doing a $100 giveaway this summer, $100 Sheets gift cards. You throw that out there. So everybody in the area, you know what Sheets is. Awesome gas station, MTO, making food that you want, and great place and all that stuff. So to give you a little relief at the gas pumps, this is my gift to you. So $100 gift card. Here's the thing you got to do. You got to make sure that you let me know, and all my information is going to pop up, and then you can, get on here, put it in the comments, the whole 9 yards. I'll get a hold of it. I need to know your name, and here's the big contest. Before, we were talking about whoever can guess what day mortgage interest rates, 30-year conventional fixed mortgage is going to be down, because it was going down for a long time, right? 6.25%. And that is going to be based on what the best app you can download for mortgages is Mortgage News Daily. So little tip and trick there for you, Mortgage News Daily. Make sure you download that app. And so, yeah, $100 gift card. Anybody that can guess what day. Now, you may want to think about the year 2027 at this point, because we were really hoping and praying. We thought with the trend, it was going to be our friend, and we were going to get down there. And now it is any time now. But hey, it can happen. But we're going to keep that in place. I was thinking about adjusting it to 6.5. We may do that. So this is why you got to pay attention to my programs. So make sure you get your name in the hopper. $100 Sheets gift card, costs you nothing to do. And you let me know, what day do you think mortgage rates will be down to 6.25%? Speaking of today, I'm going to surprise you. I'll tell you what it is here in just a little bit. So, all right, here's the drill, guys. Anybody tuning in, make sure you do in there. We'll be able to see your comments. I'll be able to get those. And also QQQ, put in your question and everything. It can be anything about real estate. And if you have a win about real estate, you can type that in the comments, and I'll respond to that as well and give you a hand clap and congratulate you, whatever it is. Maybe a settlement, got a house under contract, whatever it is in that regard. So also real quick, we want to thank all of our awesome sponsors. You're going to see that on the screen and all that as well. And at our commercial breaks, we want to thank those. First and foremost, they're going to have their video done. Presidential Bank Mortgage, Terry Kernan over there. Him and his team are great. So anytime you guys need anything, questions, cares, thoughts, and concerns about a loan for mortgages, he's been in this business well over 30 years. He is going to be able to professionally advise you. So make sure you reach out to Terry Kernan here, Presidential Bank Mortgage, right here in Frederick. So also Community Title Network, Brianne, Paul, and Mike and her crew, Diego and all them over at Community Title Network here in Frederick. You guys do an awesome job. You'll see that coming up as well. And finally, the one and only Connie Phillips Insurance, who's been here in Frederick forever, who does my own personal insurance, has helped me with lots of crazy stuff. And she is amazing and helps me to sleep good at night. So thank you so much, Connie and Amy and your crew over there as well for being proud sponsors here. So, all right, I'm here. Trusted resource. Got you covered. Bringing you over 23 years experience selling over 700 homes now and having lots of fun doing this little sport. And so thank you guys again. Tuning in to the radio program on Saturdays, WFMD 930 as well. That one's a 30-minute program, not as long as we can do here, but it's got a lot of good stuff that we like to share in real time and all that. So, all right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out past programs. I do not have a guest with me today. Those have been on a lot of my past programs. I think this is the only second program I've done solo flying on my own, and I love it. Sometimes, I get bored. I like to have people here, and so it's good. So one of the things I've been thinking about doing would be a lot of fun is bringing on a buyer, somebody else just buying a house, seeing if they're bold enough to come on the program and share what it's been like purchasing a house and how we were able to help them out and tips and tricks they can give you from experience that just happened. And also sellers. Woo, the sellers are having lots of fun now in this market. All right, so here we go. Big topic tonight. A couple big things I'm going to touch on is number one, what in the heck is up with rates? It's all about the rates. That's the first big thing we're gonna discuss tonight and talk about. I'm going to share and some ideas that revolve around that. This affects all buyers and sellers, investors, and anybody that's thinking about anything to do with real estate, okay? We're going to talk about Frederick numbers and what's happening in Frederick right now. And then we're going to end tonight everything up on the best thing everybody loves to talk about and show me the money. All right. We're going to be Jerry Maguire here in a little bit. All right. What the heck is up with the rates? Today, we have not at this moment reached an all-time high. But today, rates, according to Mortgage News Daily, 6.8%. Sky is falling. Are you kidding me? Put a comment in there. What in the world do you think about 6.8%? So let me give you a little bit of background since I have it right in front of me here. March, when was the last time this happened? Well, we're going to go back a little bit further. We're not even thinking about the 3% nonsense and the crazy free money that we experienced during COVID and all that. That was 2020, 21, 22. All right, 2023, boof, things started to change really rapidly, and we saw it grow up. In January of 2024, we hit the over 6% marker by far. We hit 6.6, believe it or not. We went crazy. And then 6.8 the last time. It was March in 2024. You can take your mind back there in the spring of 2024. Because it went up to that high, and then it come down a little bit, and everybody got really excited. But then all of a sudden, April, just a month or two later, holy cow, interest rates went through the roof. We hit 7.22%, and it was like the emergency brakes getting slammed on. But the next time we dropped it back down here in July, in the summertime of 2024, 2 years ago, this time 2 years ago, we hit it in July, and we hit 6.8%. This is not news, boys and girls. This ain't new. Then we dropped her down, and this was the best. In October of 2024, boom, we got down to 6.1%. Man, we were feeling good. At the end of the summer, September of 2024, into October, man, we thought Santa Claus came early. And it was really getting cranked up, and it was great. And it really started to cause a lot more buyers and everybody to jump into the swimming pool and have some fun. And we saw a lot of sales start to happen then. But then all of a sudden, in October, November, boom, it started shooting back up. We got back up to 6.8 in December. So literally, it was like short-lived. Like 2 months later, we went from being down to 6.1 to 6.6, 0.5%, just like that fast. But then we got faked out again. We got into January, sliding into January of this last year or 2025. Rates came back down a little bit to 6.6, and then boom, they went back up to 7%. Then we started sliding back down. And the last time we were at this place at 6.8% interest rates was in March of 2025. So ever since then, it went up a tiny bit. Then we started going back down again. After June, we hit the high of 6.9. And ever since then, we just started sliding down like little by little by little. And everybody was getting pretty excited. So here's the bottom line. The bottom line is in February. Now, take your back this year after we got done with Christmas last year and the beginning of this year, where all this promise came from for buyers was an awesome spring mark on the way. It was going to be better than the previous. It wasn't going to be a dud. And all this stuff got promised. The news is going on and all that. And we did. We literally got down on the second week of February of this year, 5.99%. Our dreams came true. We broke the under 6% number. And man, it was so good that I helped my son buy a house right after that. And a lot of people got involved in real estate again. They were excited and things seemed to be like consistently moving the same direction. But we also had those buyers out there that were waiting because, hey, we're waiting for the prices to crash. We're waiting for interest rates to continue on this trend and keep going down. And all of a sudden, we all got surprised. In March, boom, interest rates went back up again, and we got the 6.5 pretty rapidly here during this whole time in this year, ever since April. So we got back up again, and then it came down a little bit, and all of a sudden, things have picked up. So the last few weeks, though, have been really, really busy. But what's the culprit in this crime? Iran, the war, and this and that, and the stock market, and the Fed freezing rates, not raising the Fed rate or lowering it, and a new chairman of the Fed, and everything happened. I mean, it was just crazy this spring and now summer. And all of a sudden, we keep hoping, wishing, and praying. What is the magic pill that is going to cause interest rates to get back down under 6%? And so, drop your comments in here. We want to hear from you. What do you think it's going to take for the rates to go below 6%? Is it going to be finally finishing this war? I don't know. It's hard to say because it's tied to so much more than that. Stock market's reaching all-time highs. There's all kinds of CPI indexes. Unemployment is like steady. Job growth is happening. Oh, this is a really big thing. And I think I mentioned one of my programs here recently. Do you realize that people's personal incomes have been outpacing real estate prices in the last year or more? So it doesn't feel like it, doesn't sound like it, doesn't smell like it. But the truth of the matter is this is what is actually happening on the numbers. And so there it is. That's what we've seen. A lot of things foreseen. Praying to God that Santa Claus before Christmas comes brings out of the North Pole a 5.99% interest rate. So what's really happening here? Buyers are adjusting mentally to higher mortgage prices. And this is something that, we've seen the myth of mortgages rates currently steady at their lowest level 3 buying home seasons, but now it's up a little bit. And then the next big graph is this one. This is a fun one. Mortgage rate projections. You got to love these things. I love the projections. Well, all the pundits and all the bigwigs out there and everybody was thinking out there that third quarter of 2026, which we're, getting ready to get into here, we're there. Fannie Mae said 6.20. You missed it, Fannie. MBA 6.3 and Wells Fargo 6.2. The average of them all 6.23. Here's the bottom line. Missed all of it by a mile because the trend was our friend, and that's where it looked like it was going. Because for the longest time, we were at 6.5%. So we were really hoping and praying we get down to 6.3 or 6.2, but those projections didn't really happen and pan out. So future projections, no one has a crystal ball this fourth quarter coming up. I'm going to give you mine real quick, although I don't like to give projections. Here's my projection. I think we're going to go to 6.9%. I think we're going to be there in no time at all. Do I think we're going to crest over 7? If we do, I think it will be very short-lived, especially with the midterm elections on the horizon. As we move closer to that, man, everybody and their grandmother's going to claw and do whatever it takes to get these rates back down again. But I think it's going to be tough. And by the way, I don't think it's going to be because of the president. Trump really does not, this administration. A lot of people think they have a lot of control. No, they don't. There's so many factors that are involved in this. And so we'll all find out together where it's going. But at the same time, don't get too upset about them, because if we go, here's the thing. Somebody asked, is it a good time, to buy a house right now? It all depends. But here's what we're finding. Buyers are adjusting to higher mortgage rates. They're getting more used to what in the world is going on with this. Because if you go back and you look in the last 90 years, and this is a fact, you must do what's best for you, number one, buying a house. But if you go back in the last 90 years, do you realize we're still below the average? 6.81 today, 30-year conventional fix. Now, okay, I want to mention this. A 15-year conventional mortgage, you're going to get it less. It's going to be 6.5 or less. I got great lenders and Terry and all that, and they'll tell you what's going on. FHA loans, they're less. USDA loans and VA loans, those are obviously less than conventional 30 years. And it's not just the rate or the APR. Most people don't know this. I just had a talk with one of my good friends. And by the way, I can help you anywhere you're at. He called me from Ohio. They live on Columbus. He says, hey, Darren, got a question for you. I got pre-approved a long time ago, but I need to get updated with some things here. It's been over a year. And can you help me? And so I did. He answered the questions he had. And what a lot of people don't realize is the fact that your credit score and your loan to value ratios and a bunch of other factors is what drills down for the lender to be able to emphatically give you a good faith estimate. And exactly today, if you were buying a home today and you were locking in what program is the best for you, what type you can or can't do, and then what you're going to be your rate. And so those are the key factors. None of us can tell you up front. We can't tell you anything. I can tell you what the rate is. That's across the board, but that's like average. That doesn't mean much besides that. So the average across the board, the average over 90 years, 7.15, Your Honor. You're saying, what? The average 30-year conventional mortgage over 80 or 90 years that's been being tracked is just above 7%. We're below the average right now, but it doesn't feel like it because it's not about the interest rates, but it is. It's actually about affordability and the monthly payment and where everything's gone. The cost of everything, oh my gosh, the sky has fallen. When it's not, it's just taken a very long time to catch up with incomes and adjust to the new norm. This is the new norm. This is the bottom line. What's not normal is paying 6 or 7 times your household income for a house. But 3.5, 4.5, 5 times, that's becoming a lot more normal than what it used to be a long time ago when it was only 2 or 2.5 times. Okay. So welcome to inflation, keeping an eye on it, but this is what's going on. Once we stop comparing the rates of 3% or less during COVID or any other time, we're going to be just fine because this is all mental. It's all about expectations in rates and affordability. So I personally believe that rates, they are going to be under 6% at some time. What do I think that's going to be? I believe it's going to be in 2027. I think there's a lot of changes, a lot of catching up to do. We've had the home affordability and housing, a big program and bill that just got signed and put it into motion that's going to kick in for next year with a lot of the different things. A lot of it's going to cut regulations. It's going to speed up processes. It's going to put a lot of pressure on more grant money for first-time home buyers and a lot of different things that is all about the American dream and home ownership. We'll see how it pans out, but so far, it can only get better in that regard because there are a lot of great minds in thinking alike as far as realizing affordability absolutely has to get tackled once and for all, okay? So at what point, here's a big question. So at what point, in what percent, would a ton of buyers just jump in by the millions and buy a house and get a mortgage? Like at what point? They've done studies, and I heard this last week on another podcast. They had said the ultimate number is not 5.99. Now, that would be really nice. It'd be getting cranked up. I'll tell you what, that would cause a lot of people to wake up. 5.5%, that would be pandemonium. Okay, Darren, that sounds like as a real estate agent, that's what you want. Not really. 5.5%, my phone will catch on fire. We will have, and here's the bad part. Yes, a ton of buyers will jump in the swimming pool. We will have so many buyers jump in by the millions. I mean, the pent-up demand is well over 10 million people and buyers coming up. Here's the thing. If we have too many people jump in and not enough supply and sellers are still hanging on to the golden handcuffs 3% mortgage rate they've got, what do you think is going to happen? Yes, there will be more sellers that are going to sell because it's more palatable to give up a 3% or less or 3.5% rate to go to 5.5%, but not as many as you probably think, and neither do I. I think there's going to be more buyers than sellers. So when there's more buyers than sellers, what the flip is going to happen? Prices are going to go through the roof again, multiple offers, fist fights in the front yards, and houses going $50,000 above the asking price or more. That's going to ruin affordability even worse than it is now. It's just be crazy. And that's not what we want. We like stability because we can sell stability. You can't sell crazy. And crazy would be prices like we saw going up. Crazy would just be something that's an anomaly and something that we don't want to have happen whatsoever. So seesaws are fun when they're level, but when the kid jumps off on one side and the other one doesn't know it's coming, he hits the ground and he hits the ground pretty hard. Remember that as a kid? All right. Thought you'd like that little thing there. So make sure you drop in the comments. I want to know, What are your thoughts about interest rates? Where do you think they're going? And if you want to get your name in the hopper, $100 gift card at Sheets. Let me know what day you think rates are going to get back to 6.25. So, all right, another idea since the average home ownership of the mortgage. Here's the big thing too. The average homeowner that has a mortgage keeps it for 8 to 10 years. Now, if it's lower, they keep it longer, like 13 to 15 years. But the average owner of a mortgage keeps it for only 8 to 10 years. So before they're going to sell the house or refinance. So we are 3 years into this already. Since rates have gone from 3% up to over 7 and 7.8, which was almost 8% for 20 seconds. So I predict within 5 years or less, this is what the trend could be. 5 years or less, the number of owners with a rate under 3% is going to be very small. So what is it today? Drop it in there. What kind of a rate do you have right there on your mortgage? And are you one of the victims of the golden handcuffs where you have that 3.5% or less? Here, check out the facts. Just checked it out today. How many people that have a mortgage have below 3%? It's 19.5%. So 1 out of every 5 people that have a mortgage, it's below 3. I am one of them. Am I going to give that thing up? You give me $2 million for my house, I'll give it up. All right, 3 to 4% interest rate. You were supposed to laugh, guys. All right, 3 to 4% rates. How many people? That is a big number, 30.4%. So the amount of people with a mortgage that have under 4%, it's almost 50%. Half the mortgages out there. The longer this goes, the more life is going to cause these homeowners, you as a homeowner, maybe, you're going to be forced to sell at some point. I don't care what it is. Death, debt, divorce, all the big D's. It's going to be something. There's going to be something happen. It's going to be medical, parents, kids. It could be, there's going to be an event at some point that sellers say, oh boy, who cares about the rate? Or I can't care about the rate. I got to move on with my life. Let's go. So 4 to 5%. How many mortgage holders between 4 and 5%? 16.8%. How many mortgage holders are between 5 and 6%? 11.2. And this is a good number. Get ready. You're not going to feel bad if you're part of this number. You're in good company. Ready? How many homeowners that have a mortgage, 6% or higher, which that's where we've been for over a year, almost 18 months, 22.1% and climbing. That number will continue to climb. It's already above those that have a 3% mortgage rate. So these are some pretty factual, mind-blowing things to wrap your head around. My job is to educate you so that you can really think deep about this. And then whatever questions you have, I'm able to help you out. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break right now and thank our sponsors. When I come back, we're going to dive deep into Frederick County real estate market news trends and numbers. And we're going to see how do we match up right on here in our backyard versus the good old USA. All right, check it out. Here's our sponsors.
Hi there, I'm Brianne Paul, an attorney with Community Title Network, the most trusted title partner for real estate professionals, buyers, and sellers. Our experienced attorneys, settlement agents, and processing staff put you at ease whether your closing involves residential real estate, commercial real estate, or other real estate matters in between. We work with the most respected title underwriters in the region to make sure your rights are protected and all title problems are resolved quickly. Experience close to home with our many locations, serving Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Washington, D.C., and Ohio, as well as remote signing options available. Reliable, efficient, top-notch service, that's Community Title Network. How can we help you today? Find us online at www.communitytn.com or call us at 301-304-6620.
Life doesn't always go as planned, but with Connie Phillips Insurance, you'll be ready for whatever comes your way. As an independent agent, CPI shops multiple carriers to find the right coverage at the right price. Auto, home, life, or business, we got you covered with personal service you can trust. Call Connie Phillips Insurance today at 301-662-5717. Remember, advising what's in your best interest, not just selling policies.
All right, I'm Darren Ahearn. I am back as your host for your real estate update right here live in Studio 401 for Everything Frederick Live. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. And this last segment I just did, all about mortgage rates and things. I could go on and on and on, but this is good stuff. Make sure you guys get a hold of Terry Kernan, Presidential Bank Mortgage. His stuff's going to be up on our sponsorship things here, and it's in the screen. You'll see it on there as well. Him and I on the radio program this last week, we were talking about something that was really good about cross mortgages that are like bridge loans and things like that. They got some cool stuff, man, for people that are looking and saying, hey, I want to be able to sell my house and buy a house, but I can't go in contingent. I can't go in with a house to sell. The sellers are never going to accept my offer as a buyer. What am I going to do? And it's a big concern and stress thing. And the beautiful part is we've got loans with equity in your home. There are loans that Terry and them guys can do over there that are amazing. That's going to be able to help you cross collateralize and do kind of like a bridge loan settlement. So where you don't have to go in. And when I help you get that next house, you don't have to go in with a house to sell contingency or anything. You don't lose your dream house at the end of the day. So that's the bottom line. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Somebody's gotten creative. It's getting great. It's good. And it's helping people, which that's the thing we love. So, all right, here we go. The next big thing here. Let me get into, Frederick County. Here we go. The big numbers. All right. What's going in our backyard today? Well, in the last 30 days or previous 2 weeks ago, we had 685 homes for sale. What's that mean? It's just flat market. Whatever homes are coming on, they're either getting picked up and they're getting, sold quick. They're either going on contract in a week or so or two, or they're sitting on the market and the sellers are missing it and they're sitting on the market, and all of a sudden they take it off and they're like mad, derage the listings. So we have seen inventory going up a little bit from 685. Last week we were at 710 homes for sale, about 115 brand new builds also. But these are resale homes. And then this today, 730. We've added 20 homes in 1 week. Nothing catastrophic whatsoever. But I always like to be a forward thinker in this. I'm a numbers geek. I'm your housing nerd right now. And so 730 homes. The longer and the more that inventory in Frederick County continues to go up consistently, there's going to come a point where we're no longer going to be able to announce consistently, not 1 quarter, but 2 quarters, 3 quarters, or a full year, God forbid, that we're actually going to see home values as a whole decline a little bit. They're going to go in the red. They're going to go down 2%, 5%, whatever it is. Now, we as agents, I like to look at Frederick County in 3 segments. We like to look at, because it's very different where you're at. The most different of anything is right here, 2, 3, 5 blocks away, downtown Frederick, downtown immediate Frederick, like Carroll Creek, all those areas like that, Baker Park and all those areas. That's an anomaly. That is a unicorn. Okay. It's like little DC in one or whatever. The prices and the values there always go up the fastest and hold the longest. Just how it works. Okay. They making more of it down there. They're just like taking out buildings and like building them as we take them out at this point. I don't even know how many blades of green grass are downtown there anymore. But here's the point. I break it up in 3. South Frederick County. This is like Village Urbana, Imesville, all that. Mid County, right here in Frederick, New Market going that way, and then heading up towards Middletown and out that direction as well, Myersville. And then you got North County, and then you've got like outside of Walkersville, we're going into Liberty Town, and then we're going to like, let's say, Lewistown and Thurmont. And then you get to be up where I'm at, where all the black bears live. You get to be up in Sebillsville. We're on the tippy top of the mountain, and I am literally 30-second drive from being either into Washington County, Pennsylvania, or off the cliff. So take your pick. So I love it, but that's what we call North County. So depending on where you're at, the values of a home are broke up in 2 big things. It's the broad location of Frederick County. So whether you're up where I'm at or you're down on the very, very end of Village Urbana and you're just almost 2 seconds away from Montgomery County line right there, the prices of the exact same home, same square footage, same bedroom, same bath, same size yard and everything, guarantee the price is at least 10, more like probably 20% difference in value. So you've got that is a number one thing. And then you get a lot more granular and you get down to the exact location. You get into what community you're in. And so you could literally have one community in one place in Frederick County here, and you could have the same house in a community that's across the street or down the street, and you could be 5% difference immediately. Or the third factor I forgot about, really, you could be pretty close in proximity, but the second your property is across the school lines, we call it, you get inside and you go outside, you get into a different school district than the house across in the next neighborhood, lights out, baby. That right there could easily affect your value of your house by 5% or more. Now, it is what it is, but these are the very integral, granular things as a buyer and seller you got to know about, you got to think about, and it's really, really, really important. So those are kind of like the three prongs in that. Coming soon, 82. Oh, the big thing someone asked me is, somebody asked me this here. If at what point would inventory in Frederick County go? How high does it have to get before it breaks? Before like prices across the board, not just little spotty areas are down a little bit and some are up as a whole. Where do we have to get to that? I would probably guess somewhere around 1,100 homes. If we get about 400 to 450 more homes on the market, that's when we're going to break and crack, baby. But it also depends on what in the world is happening with overall buyer demand at the same time. Because think about it. If inventory goes up to 1,000, if buyer demand increases within that segment, it's a wash. It's not really a big problem. The problem is if buyer demand stays the same or goes down and inventory goes up, that's the problem. That's the thing I pay attention to almost every single day, like a housing nerd does. And so this is the pulse. This is what's going on. Everything in the last 30 days has been scary, quiet, flat. That's like the calm before the storm. There better not be a storm. But this is kind of what it feels like. Coming soon, 82 homes. That's like no big deal. We see that get above 100, 120. Oh boy, that's going to definitely be, those are then in the queue. Those are the homes that sellers could put their home into the market for sale within 24 hours. And it could be in a week. It could be in a month. But at the end of the day, that number is significant to pay attention to. The next big number is under contract. So 522 homes under contract, a little bit more, I should say, than last year by about 10% at this time, which shows really good signs in the moment. Here's what's causing that. In the last 2 to 3 weeks, regardless of what interest rates are doing or the war or anything happening, the last 2 to 3 weeks, we have definitely seen a massive uptick in buyer demand. Doesn't make sense. We're past the spring. Everybody's hanging out at the beach drinking margaritas. What are they doing? Are they buying homes sight unseen, putting offers in? I have no idea. But I just know from my pipeline personally and a lot of my colleagues, this is the busiest I've been in over a year. I've had 6-8 settlements a month. I've had 4 new listings, tons of new buyers. Today I just got 2 more houses under contract. Both of them were on the market less than 10 days, over 45 showings. Both of them are at and above asking price. You can't make this up. So when someone says things are bad, it stinks, the sky is falling, you're a mad seller or buyer, I promise you the market is all contingent upon how you want to make it. You get to control it your own self, not the market as a big whole. That's just one thing. That's a buyer's brain and a seller's head settlement. So we've seen 552 under pending right now under contract today, and we've had 356 sold in the last 30 days, which is a little bit flat. So normally we would, at this time of the year, pretty much in July, we would be over 500, 550. That would be a pretty nice number to get up to about 3,500 homes selling in Frederick County in a year. So, all right. So those are the numbers and a little bit of ideas that goes along with Frederick County stuff. So those are my thoughts, predictions. These are real numbers and all that. I'll keep you up to breast on what's happening trend-wise coming up and how it kind of choreographs within what we've seen last year and where the normal should be. But overall, the state of Maryland. Now, if we talk about the state of Maryland, we've seen a volume up about 2.4% as well, month over month, year over year numbers, which is really good. So things are really good in general. The bottom line is everything is screaming. We're getting more and more and more back to normal overall. So, all righty. So I shared that and here we go. All right. So this is something I do want to touch on. And I know I have people ask me that whenever I've mentioned about you as a seller or buyer, that you get to decide what your market, their market, you, and what it means for you. So this all comes down to expectations, okay? And I've talked a little about this. Dave, Mark last week was on the program with me, Mark Hammer. Awesome, the Ham Rocker. And this is something that I've discussed a lot and thought about a lot. Buyers and sellers' expectations have the greatest divide I've ever seen in my career. In 24 years almost, we've never seen mindsets, expectations, ideas, and all of it. And some would say, well, that sounds pretty horrific. Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that it takes a little bit more work. It's a little more difficult to sometimes get people into reality. Life will bring you into reality. You can just keep denying it and it gets worse, or it can just take longer. But at the end of the day, the best teacher in life is life, if we let it be. So what does that mean for buyers and sellers? So here's the thing. Buyers at some point have to realize 3% interest rates are never coming back. And if they do, I'll probably be dead by then. But don't hold your breath. The reality is 6 or 6.5, 7. That's probably where we should live and stay. It wouldn't be bad to get down in the 5s for a little while, give a little bit of incentive, maybe a little tax break, maybe a little this and that. And I've shared it on my radio program for affordability and incentives and good stuff. That's not going to be excessive and really cause a lot of problems. It's just nice, just playing nice and being fair and fun. Outside of that, expectations, interest rates, expectations for buyers, prices, and say with sellers. So the biggest problem we're having today is you still have that buyer that's waiting for the market to crash. I don't know what you're waiting on. It ain't gonna happen. I can prove to you on paper and numbers there's way too much pent up buyer demand. If prices crash, buyers are going to jump in the swimming pool more than you. And if rates go down, the same thing's going to happen. So that's not going to happen unless we see a massive recession, massive job loss, very big hardships, and then we see a flood of homes come into the market. Sellers are trying to sell quickly to take their equity out of the home, take their money off the table, if you will, to be able to live because they lost a job or something like that happened on a big scale. Guys, that's not happening. Job growth is happening. Unemployment's staying low. People's incomes are over 3 to 4% per year, outpacing home prices right now. We are just not seeing any signs of it. It would have to take a catastrophic event, and we don't want that because it's like the Titanic. It doesn't matter if you're first, second, or third class. If there's a hole in the dang boat, we're all getting wet. It's that simple. So we really don't want that to happen, okay? So the big thing on the seller side, and so buyers also, is the expectation, the big problem is walking away from home inspections, just walking away. I'm just going to walk away. If I don't get what I want, I'm walking away. I'm going to pick up my toys and go home. They don't want to negotiate, work anything out. Sellers don't understand this till it happens, and then the sellers are like, what in the world just happened? So I try to really prepare sellers for all this kind of stuff. And but buyers, think about it. A home inspection is not designed to make a 30-year-old house brand new again, $300,000 less than a brand new home. If you want a brand new home, let's go spend $1 million. Let's get you a brand new house. Okay. If that's what you really want. But an existing home, there has to be some reality and reasonability to what the contract says and what the expectations could be. Now, does that mean it sounds like as a real estate agent, you're not fighting for me, you're not representing me, you're not getting me what I want? You gotta be realistic though. But usually, we deal with safety issues. We're going to deal with what are hazards. We're going to deal with things that are fixed and not broke, that are broken and not fixed. We're going to deal with those things. But maintenance issues or things that aren't even a problem or things that could be a problem in 10 years, you can't play that game. That game doesn't work. Okay. It's just tough to play. And you don't get what you want either at that point, and it gets nasty and worse. So the seller side, everything, we're getting into that now. It's all about the price. And this is the big thing here that we see a lot, that we're fighting and dealing with at times, is the price. It's always been this. It's always been about the price. But this is the most important one for nearly all sellers to know. Check this out. I don't know. I've been waiting forever for the first seller, for me to hear this from them. I always ask, what's the most important thing to you as a seller when it comes time to selling your home? Think about that. Put it in the comments. What's the most important thing and element that is for you with selling a house? Now, there could be a lot of them. You could be like the terms, the settlement date. My job is moving. I need to stay here till this point. I need a rent back. I don't want to, I don't have no money. I can't fix nothing with a house. I'd rather give a credit. I've heard it all. But the number one thing is what almost every single seller says. And the one thing I haven't heard is, And I'll stop. I'll retire if this happens. And so who's going to do it? You'll make me retire early. The seller who says to me, Darren, I have just way too much stinking equity in my house. I just way too much. Too much money is in my house. And this is the seller that says, yeah, I want to leave money on the table. And in fact, I want to be generous. I'm feeling really good right now in life. And maybe you hit somebody that hit the lottery, you might do this. I want to make the buyer's day and I want to sell my home for less than the market. In fact, I'm considering giving it away. Unless you're a buyer on the Oprah Winfrey show, you're never going to hear that. But I have heard many sellers that have been saying, I don't know, we'll be kind. Maybe we'll donate a little bit to charity or a church or organization or whatever. But the bottom line is, I've never met a seller yet that says, I just want to give away my equity. I'll just do whatever offer come in, whatever it is. By the way, 9 out of 10 times your first offer is the best offer. Those are facts. But I've never had a seller yet say to me, you know what, don't worry. Just pick a price where I'm being kind and nice and kind of almost giving it away, leaving money on the table. Not going to happen. The thing I typically hear, and I've heard this for 24 years, and it's a broken record, I got to get XYZ. If I don't get this, I can't buy my next house, or I can't go on vacation, or I can't pay my kids' college, or I can't leave, or I can't, do whatever. So the problem with that comes back to expectations, and this is the big problem with it. Buyers don't care what you have to get. The market is the market. The market never lies, right? They don't care. They could care less. I got to pay debts off. I got to get this much. And I've had people say to me, because I want to buy a new car. Okay, so do I, but the buyer, imagine that, a buyer offering you the offer and they're going to go sky high in price and above the market. And they're like, hey, we're giving you this so you can go buy that brand new car. I've never seen that happen before. So how many of you guys remember watching on TV one of the greatest movies of all time, Tom Cruise in there? And no, we're not talking Top Gun and all that. That's great. Bunch of other good movies and all that. But this segment right here, I'm going to do right after we do a commercial break. You got to hang in there. Make sure you drop your comments down below, but we're going to take a little timeout break. We're going to thank our sponsors. And when I get back, I'm going to tell you what this next segment's called, and it's from one of my favorite movies of all time.
Sponsored by Atlas Wood Floors. Serving the area for more than 34 years. Wood floors, luxury vinyl plank. Anything that you put on your floor, they can handle it. Check out their Google reviews and give them a call today. 301-948-9663. That's 301-948. Wood. Be sure to ask for Jeff Koger or go to atlaswoodfloors.net. Sponsored by Lawn Squad. Quick and easy quote, and you can be on your way to having the best lawn in the neighborhood. Watch the progress as Brian from Lawn Squad brings Danny's lawn back to life. Visit lawnsquad.com. Sponsored by Maryland Lottery. Tons of ways to win. Hot scratch-offs like big money where a $5 ticket could net you $50,000 or the $2 Monopoly ticket with a top prize of $10,000. Go to mdlottery.com for all the details. Plus, you can download the app and scan your tickets to see if you're a winner. Must be 18 to play. Please play responsibly.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm Darren Ahearn with RE/MAX Results. 24 years experience helping everybody right here in Frederick, on our backyard, and all over the place. Hey, listen, check it out. If you have, I just talked to a friend today from Ohio, needed help with real estate. He said, Darren, help me find not only a great lender, and I did pre-approval, but give me some more contacts and great stuff, man. And the coolest thing is he said, yep, we don't have a real estate agent. Can you please help us in Columbus, Ohio? So, hey, if I have any real estate agents that have tuned in and come across this in Columbus, Ohio area, Pinkerton or whatever up there, I got something for you. Got a present for you. I need your help. I got a great friend that is wanting to, in the upcoming months, purchase a place up in there. They need educated about the market there and helping with tips and tricks in the Columbus, Ohio area. So, hey, you could be anywhere. You could be in California, Florida, or anywhere in the entire world. I promise you, I know what questions to ask. I'm going to come in hard and heavy on agents. And I'm going to make sure they're in the top 3%. They live there a long time. They know the landscape. They know this stuff. They're not selling one house or zero per year. They're doing like I do. They're selling 40, 50, 60 homes a year. They got teams. They're going to be at your beck and call. They're going to give you great service, and they're going to knock it out of the park for you, and you're going to love it. So, check this out. Got swag. I am on the board officially. Danny just showed me. We have your real estate update, Darren Ahearn. We got stickers. I'm on the pole. I'm everywhere. I'm going to now put these all over my car, and I need you to do the same. So we got some awesome stickers. Put them on laptops. Heck, if you can stick them on your dog, your cat. They'll try to get them off, but don't let them, because they're going to need a house too one day. They're going to need to sell something. I don't know. So make sure you guys get your swag. What do I get? Like T-shirts and all that fun stuff, umbrellas, who knows? But thank you so much, Danny, for surprising me with that. I love it. I think it's great. And I love it. I love it. So maybe one day I'll get a billboard out there. Who knows? Who knows? So, all right. I've been talking about the movie. Here it is. Tom Cruise, one of the best movies ever. The segment is called this one. Does anybody remember when Jerry Maguire was behind the desk and his football guy called up, and then Jerry Maguire's the agent, like I'm the agent. And he calls up and he says, yo, Jerry, what's going on? And the kids are in the background and music's going, and his cousins or whatever's by him, and the music's rocking on. And he goes, yo, Jerry, what's up? And he's like, what's up? And he says, yo, I need you to do something for me. And I think Jerry something's like, yeah, what can I do for you there, Rod? And he says, Jerry, he turns the music down. He says, listen up. Here it goes. It's like this. Ready? Show me the money. Jerry's like, what? He says, come on, man. Show me the money. Jerry, come on, say it with me. And Jerry goes, show me the money. He's like, no, man, I need you to get into this with me, brother. You don't understand. These are the kind of sellers I want. I want the sellers out there that can scream at me at an appointment, and they're going to say, Mr. Darren Ahearn, show me the money. And if you can't scream it and do it like Jerry Maguire, I'm going to get up, walk away. I'm going to say, congratulations. I ain't your agent, because I need you to be ready for this market. And the plan I'm going to show you, it's going to show you the money. I just had 2 sellers today who could scream to me, you did show me the money. You got it. This is amazing. This is incredible. I can sleep at night. I don't have to worry about being one of those sellers that doesn't get their home sold. One of the sellers that is delisting their home, the rage, they're mad, they're kicking the dog, they're mad at the agent, they're mad at everybody. We don't want none of that. We want happy people. So show me the money. 90% of all sellers are getting top dollar for their house. That's a fact. 76% of homes listed for sale right now are getting sold. So 24% chance, 24. Now, why in the world are 24% of homes not getting sold? Well, there's a very, 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 very small number of them that they're temporary off the market. At the moment, they're not getting sold. And then there's other segments like, I don't know, somebody, husband and wife, mad, getting divorced. They kiss and make up, and they're like, hey, I don't need your sign in the front yard no more. Man, that is the best thing to ever happen, to have to take the real estate sign out of the yard, is if somebody kisses and makes up, because who wants to lose their house over that stuff? Or somebody hits the lottery. I don't need to sell my house. I can keep it. There are a lot of factors out there that could happen that could cause someone to take their home off the market. But the ones, typically 98% of them that expire and come off the market, is primarily because the seller didn't have a plan. End of the story. Without a plan, without playbooks, without knowing what you're going to do before you go out on the field, is no different than a team that goes and plays the game without plays, without practicing, without having the plan. And they just go out and like, oh, we're just going to willy-nilly it. Whatever happens, happens. We're just going to feel the market. We're just going to feel the game. They're going to get their heads handed to them. They're going to lose so bad, and then they're going to blame everybody in the crowd, which are the buyers. They're going to blame the coaches, which are me. They're going to blame everybody, and that is not the way to do this. So how do you have a good plan? Here's the thing, guys. Experience matters. A rookie, somebody new at this, I was there, but guess what? I studied playbooks 24/7. I studied contracts, scenario after scenario, and I still do today. I've never put the playbook down. I'm dealing with a couple situations now where almost I've never seen this in 24 years, almost like you can't make this stuff up. There's stuff that happens in real estate. There is almost no playbook. You got to start like going out of the box, right? But at the end of the day, I can be ready for anything. At the end of the day, I know how to represent a client with anything. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Doesn't mean all of us agents are perfect. But most of us that do this really good job, and the public informational that have done reporting and have done surveys and such like that come back with stellar numbers. In fact, they've gone back a year, 5 years later after a buyer has bought a home, and they say, hey, who is your real estate agent? 81% of all buyers 5 years later still know the name of their agent. Some would say, oh, that's because you keep in touch and send out cooking cards. No, that's because they had a great experience also. And yes, most stay in touch, but yet they've had a good enough experience to say, yeah, I'd hire my agent back again. Of course, I want them to help me. That is a huge number. That is huge. And then, by the way, in the last years that the market has consistently become more complex and crazy, that number has actually weeded out people, and it's actually gotten a little bit better, which is absolutely stellar and amazing. So, all right, here we go. So here's the thing. 76% of all homes are selling. Do you want to be part of that? You better have a plan, because if you get mad, you take your home off the market and you do list it and you get rage listing going on. These are the bitter sellers out there, and we definitely don't want no one bitter and upset. Okay. So if it's not compelling, it's not selling. In 2006 and 2021, there's only one thing in common besides the 16 years apart of those 2 years. And I've lived through both of them. Sellers could have had dishes piled high in the sink, shag carpet, smelly stuff going on, dogs running around, paint peeling, chipping paint not done, power wires running through the backyard, you name it. I could care less. The bottom line is those 2 years, 2006, 2021, sellers didn't have to pay attention to no playbook. You could actually stick them down. You could put a stick out in your yard. I remember one time I had a seller call me and say, hey, I met up with them and they said, hey, Darren, I don't need you to help me sell as a realtor. I don't need an agent. I'll for sale by owner this thing. You know what I said to them? You're right. You don't need me. You never need me. Go throw a stick in the front yard, stick your phone number on it, have fun. For some people, it worked out really good because they were able to, like, by a wing and a prayer, negotiate things out and work through things, have a title company or real estate attorney or somebody else, or, do the paperwork for them. Maybe they screwed it up. Maybe they'll never find out till later that they didn't do the disclosures right. But at the end of the day, 9 out of the 10 of them probably could have had a smarter negotiating thing happen for them, but it didn't. But it still worked out in the end. They still pretty much got what they wanted. Congratulations. That was an anomaly. That definitely had the best chance during that time of happening. Why? Because you didn't have to do curb appeal. You didn't have to clean the kitchen. You didn't have to paint. You didn't have to do carpet. You didn't have to do jack squat. You didn't have to do staging. You didn't even have to do hardly any marketing at all. And that's the truth. And that's basically what we experienced. And that's not too far ago. That was 5 years ago. But here's the thing. Multiple offers. We were having buyers begging for sellers to take their offer. Fist fights in the front yards. My favorite. We had more love letters floating around. You'd have thought everybody got a date. I thought it was the most romantic time in history of real estate was 2006 and 2021. Ever since those times when the market changed, we've been singing this song, You've Lost That Lovin' Feeling. And here's the thing, love letters, these love letter things, I had a client, man, they were like, hey, can we stick a love letter in there if there's a multiple offer? No, we don't do that no more. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. You want to send it by mail or hand deliver it, but we do not do that anymore. Only because there's been lawsuits and there's been problems about it. And we do not want to go there. How could that be a problem? I promise you, it could cause a problem, boys and girls. All right. So now that we've been jolted back to the reality for sellers, we're now back to normal. And without a plan, and you don't have this, it's going to just be ugly. The homes, somebody may ask, and I've had people ask, hey, Darren, how many homes have you listed and didn't sell? Not too many. I would probably say out of 700 or 800, and I've tracked those, probably about 20 homes, 25 maybe. If I look back, the trend is our friend, and there's a little weird thing that keeps happening. The seller said, I don't want to do your plan. I'm going to do my plan. 9 out of 10 of those happened in my first probably 10 or 15 year career. And then I woke up one day and realized, hey, this game isn't fun. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars marketing your home for something that's never going to happen. If we don't have a plan, you lose. It's just that simple. It's like the game of any sport. And so I have taken literally 10, 20, 50,000 hours to figure out what is the best plan for buyers. What is the best plan for sellers also when I represent them. So in this market, the price, you better be ready. If in this market, the price is right, or be ready to adjust. There it is right there. I'm going to cover it up because I want to go incognito. I want to be undercover. This is the truth right here. In this market, if price it, be ready to adjust if you don't got your price. Do you realize there's sellers out there that unfortunately thought, we can push the limit. I know that Zillow says this, all these things out here, which we don't pay attention to. They're guides, but that's not who's buying your house. We're looking at the reality of the market. Your house is worth exactly what a buyer is willing to pay right now at this time today, right now. That's going to change, by the way, in 24 hours maybe. It surely is going to change in 2 weeks or a month. But we definitely have seen that trend kind of like happening. So if it's not compelling, it ain't selling is the big thing. So here's the big thing. Percent of change of homes and prices. So 2019 to 25, what in the world happened? I love this data. I'm that nerd geek of real estate. In the state of Maryland, since then, in 6 years, we've gone up 44%. You can't make this up. The average home should go up 3 to 4%. We saw 5 years where it was double digits. That's crazy. National average, 57%. The state in the whole United States, Maryland was 43%. The state of Maine, 78%. That is crazy that's happened. I just blows my head off. I would have never guessed, right? So here's another fun one. Americans sitting on tremendous equity. 68.6% of people have paid off that have paid off their mortgage have at least 50% of equity of the third quarter of 2025. Mortgages with that 30% of all homes, mortgage homes, they have over 50% equity. That's amazing. Mortgage home, 50% equity. Mortgage is 31% with 50% or less. And 39% of all homeowners, man, they don't even have a stinking mortgage. They've paid that puppy dog off. So that's the best place to be in. Dave Ramsey would be screaming, jumping up and down. People screaming, I'm financially free and independent. Yes, you are. To not have a mortgage payment, man, that is the American dream, not just getting a house, but that's a big one too. All right, the share of all cash buyers reached new high. This is nuts. Back in the heyday in 2006, 8% of all transactions were cash buyers. Drop in the comments. Guess how many cash buyers are today? This is unbelievable. In 2024, it was 26%. Unbelievable. Where in the world are all these buyers? Hey, so sellers are like, hey, I've got a 0.25% chance of getting a cash buyer. Yes, you do. You sure do. So don't be surprised. It's like playing Uno or whatever card games. You got 1 out of 4. Most of the relisted homes have sold. This is a really good one here too. Sold after relisting it again. 71% of all sellers who have taken their house off the market and put it back onto the market, 71% have gotten it now sold. That is a much higher, that's almost as many that are selling. It's a little less, but it's pretty good number. And people say, well, why is that? Because they've had a reality check. They felt pain. People don't make changes until they feel enough pain. These are the sellers that felt pain. How many of those sold, relisted with the same agent? 51% of them, half of them. So some of them changed. So here's what I've always said to sellers. I'd rather be second than first if you're going to overprice your house. Because I'm not spending all that money for nothing to happen and getting zero and then waste it all in time and become stale in the market. But you still have to try to convince the Days on Market and Zillow and all these third-party sites. You still have to try to convince the data and manipulate it to where your home is brand new and fresh on the market. Everybody thinks if I take my home off the market 30, 60, 90 days, whenever the ticker stops rolling, and if I stick it back on, the entire public is fooled and they think all these buyers are going to think it's a brand new listing. They'll think that for about 10 minutes until they see on the third-party sites the entire history of the property, and they're going to go back and go, wait a minute, this house was on the market 6 months ago, 9 months ago. It's back on the market. What the heck's going on? That is not a great position to be in. You got one shot at it. You'd rather get the offer right away, first time listing, usually in the first 10 days if you do it right and have the right plan and score the touchdown, win the game, and you're off to the races. So there you go. Next big thing in this I was thinking about is 80% of sellers. What do they think they're going to get as their asking price or more? This goes back to expectations. Ooh, this is a fun one. Well, 4.7% of sellers say, I have no idea what I'm going to get. That number I would have thought would have been a lot higher. When I saw this, I was surprised. What percent of sellers say, I'll get less than my asking price? Yeah, I know I'm overpriced. I'm being honest. This is like the lie detector test, the truth one. 12% of all sellers are like, yeah, I'll get less. I know I will. But let's just start high, and I'm okay taking less later and taking more and more less later rather than more, And then the next one is, I'll get my asking price. 46% of sellers say, oh, I'm going to get my price. Maybe, if you have the right plan. And then what percentage says, I'm going to get more than my asking price? I priced my house too low. I was aggressive. And maybe that's the case. That could be the best plan you're ever going to have. 37%. Very interesting numbers of the sentiment and idea. Now, let's get to reality. More homes are selling for less than the list price. What's the reality of these numbers? Well, here it is. Back in 2018, 62%. This is the percent of homes that sold for less than asking. 62% of homes. Well, we get close to COVID, 2019, 64%. Oh my gosh, it got worse. Then in 2020, 55%, the best year in real estate ever. 2021, 38%. Are you kidding me? I thought that number would have been less. I don't know where these are coming from half the time. Oh, I see it. I can't. Resi Club, Redfin, this, that, all these others. That's good stuff, though. All right, 2022, 42%, 2023, 54, 56 in 2024. And in 2025, last year, back up 62%. It takes a little while for reality to be the teacher, we have learned. So the list price is one of the first details potential buyers notice when browsing properties. No kidding. That's first before days on market. Days on market, that racehorse is a close runner-up, number 2. A well-priced home can generate more interest and increase showings. On the other hand, if a home is priced too high compared to similar properties in the area, it may struggle to attract buyers and remain on the market longer. Yeah, you think so? I'll tell you what it does. It causes your neighbor to thank you and send you cookies and flowers while they pack the U-Haul while you don't have a sold sign up front, and they do. That's exactly pretty much what happens. Sellers who overpriced are having to adjust. What percentage? In this year, it was so far 16.7% of all sellers are adjusting within 30 days to get their home sold. Price cuts keep getting bigger and bigger, 13.8%. So 0 to 14 days on the market is 5%. 15 to 30 days, 6.1. Not a big difference. 31 to 60, 7.3. 61 to 90, 9%. They're going to have to come down to probably get their home sold. 91 days or more, 10.6%. You got to lower your price to probably get an offer. Ouch. Somebody asked me once, Darren, what's the most you ever had or a seller had to lower by percentage their asking price to get an offer? I believe it was 7%. I can almost guarantee 90% of the time you're within 3%. That's why I've always said to sellers, we're going from step to step, not landing to landing. If you miss it by $10, no need to panic. We ain't going crazy here. You ain't giving it away. We're putting the bait a little deeper in the water, and that's where the fish are, because that's what I do. All right, we know exactly where it is. We can figure it out on a lot of different elements. So experts say nationally home prices will rise, not fall over the next 5 years. Predictions were this year, 1.72%. Frederick County will be at 3 or higher if things continue the way they are. Congratulations. We do double better than the United States and almost better than the state of Maryland as a whole, because Frederick is the fastest #1 growing city in the state of Maryland. 2027, 1.98%. 2028, 2.7%. 2029, 3.1%, and 2030, 3.34%. If that trend continues and Frederick County is about double or a little less than double these predictions, this is going to be insane to see how many $1 million homes are in Frederick County selling. If we think we've seen a height of a record now, you ain't seen nothing yet. So, all right. Last thing I'm going to share is homeowners equity remaining high historically. For the state of Maryland, the average $256,000 in equity in the average house in the state of Maryland. So now, what is the number one thing that's causing buyers, sellers to not have as much equity? Number one thing we see right now, we see HELOC loans. In the last month or two, it has exploded. There are more sellers taking out second lines of credit to pay off these $50,000 credit card bills and this and that and medical or whatever it is. It could be anything. It could be to go to Hawaii. I don't care. But the bottom line is it eats up your equity and it eats it up very, 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 very quickly. So, all right. And then the last thing here before next week I get into the big segment, here I'm going to leave you with this. Most agents know what's happening. Good agents understand what's happening. Only great agents can explain what's happening. Who do you want on your side? So buyers and sellers, I want to thank you guys, investors, anybody thinking about real estate. I want to thank you guys tuning in. We are always here. Thank you guys. I just saw some more comments on there about good show. Thank you so much and questions. I'm always here. That is our job, is to answer what you have on your mind when it comes to real estate. I hope this has really helped you guys out. It has inspired you. And the last thing I'm going to say are two things. Number one, I'm going to be that seller. Don't be afraid to say it loud and proud. Show me the money. Because right now, this is one of the best markets we've ever been in. Show me the money. And number two, God bless America. Happy buying and selling. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here, right here live at Studio 401 on North Market Street. This is your weekly dose of real estate updates. I am Darren Ahearn from Remax Results. I will see you each and every Monday night right here at 7 o'clock. And you can go back in and check out not the live, but the recorded part. And let me know, drop your comments in and I'll get right to you. Thank you guys so much. Take care now.
Thanks for joining Darren Ahearn on your real estate update. For more smart local real estate insight, market trends, and practical advice for buyers, sellers, and homeowners, follow and subscribe to stay one step ahead.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live Podcast Network. Your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.